Hello my good people, this is part 2 on the Analogue Mega SG. My first video was the unboxing of the console. You can see a link on top just now, and also there's the link in the description down below. In this video I will test a lot of games, different cartridges style from different companies, unlicensed, indie games, official games, games that usually have issues working well, and we will see the different settings the console offers. Let's jump right into it, hope you'll enjoy. This is what you get when you start your Analogue Mega SG. First you have this Analogue logo animated with a little chime or sound, I would say, pretty cool. Then you can see this menu, run cartridge. Obviously if you have a cartridge, it can either be an original one, it can be a bootleg or replica, they work, even Chinese one, bad quality, an EverDrive or newer games, like all these indies that are getting released lately. Underneath, Play Ultra Core, it's the pack-in game that comes with the console. That was an old unreleased game, they finished it, pretty cool, I will talk about it a little bit later. And then you have settings and tools. So settings, you can change a lot of things regarding the resolution, the image, the size, etc. And finally tools, mainly tools, we will see that there is a Game Genie that is right away integrated into the console. Now let's look at the settings. So as you can see, you have video, audio, system, about, save, clear settings. So if you look at settings, you have resolution, screen size, scalers, scan lines, and advanced mode. As you can see in the resolution here, you can have 480p, 720, 1080p, multiple options. You can play with it and see which one fits you better. And same thing for the size. Here are the different options. I'm gonna play with it just a little bit here so you can see a few differences within the logo. Here is the different scalar settings. Alright, you also have a scan lines options for those who like the old school CRT lines, different adjustments possible. Then you also have the advanced mode if you are on the technical side and you like to play with a lot of different settings such as color, buffer mode, DAC, RGB mode, etc. I am not technical, I don't really play with it, so hey, if you want to have more info about it, there are a few guys that are super technical that made some great videos on YouTube. Of course, there are some audio settings as well. You can sing for headphone settings, channel, etc. You can also check the controllers. You have different tests for the controllers. You can adjust the startup within options if you want logos or no logo, change it, whatever. You have the regions setup, like you can have just auto region detection to play any region, but you can lock it on USA or Japan or just PAL, etc. One thing is the firmware. You can update it, and Analogue is actually working hard on it, because each time they have some bugs reported, they make sure it is addressed, and it's also the case for new games released, these indie games that keep being released. For example, Paprium, that is the biggest game ever released on the Genesis, was not working properly, if at all, at the beginning, and they worked on it, so now the game works perfectly on the console. I don't have it, unfortunately, but so you know. The Game Genie integrated right away within the system. It's actually in the cheat codes, so it's the Game Genie style. It's not like an action replay. So the first thing, you can either play with a 3-button Sega controller or a 6-button. I've also tried some of my third-party controllers, and all of them work. And it is known as well that the console works very well with 8-bit Do. Analogue has some kind of partnership with them. Let's just grab some games, different games, and try them to see how it works. So as you can see, I have a bunch of games that we will be testing. First I have Battletoads Double Dragon. Alright, run cartridge. Works perfectly. Now, let's try Virtua Racing. It's the Genesis version. Alright, let's see. Here we go. So no problem with Virtua Racing. As you know, it's always the game that has some issues with emulations or clone consoles. Alright, absolutely no problem. And by the way, I'm playing on this original Genesis 3-button controller. Alright, now let's try another game. Actually, we're gonna try Virtua Racing, the Japanese version. Same thing, it works. Alright, let's have some fun. Let's try this old unlicensed game, Divine Ceiling. It has a kind of weird cartridge format. You see the shell? Here we go. Let's look at a more conventional game. Let's try Rocket Knight by Konami, a favorite of a lot of people. Alright, perfect. Let's go to a European game. So this is Earthworm Jim. So this game does not play on a Genesis, usual Genesis. And we have no issue here. Another European game, Pete Sampras, Tennis 96, only released in Europe. The first one was released everywhere in the world, I mean in the US as well. And this also has this extra port for 2 other controllers. Alright, in. Of course, it works, no problem. Let me try something real quick. Oh, it didn't like it. So as you can see, it's only on the port here, on the cartridge. So it works. There's nothing here, nothing here. So the top cartridge port work as well. Single here. So you can play 4-player right away, like on a regular Genesis. Now let's look at the Japanese game by Namco. Or Namco, depends how you want to say it. Here we go. Alright, let's try a newer game. So this is Metal Dragon. It was released just last year, actually. Here we go, no issue. Alright, so now let's try an Electronic Arts, the different cartridge style. Here we go. Another Electronic Arts game. This one is the Japanese Rollo to the Rescue. Okay, so now this is kind of I would say Chinese EverDrive. I don't have a Crick's original EverDrive as of now. But anyhow, let's try this one. You see, there's already a game that is loaded in it, but otherwise I could have picked the game I wanted. We can do it real quick. Aladdin. Alright. Let's do this real quick. Here we go. Alright, this one, Stormlord. This one was done by Razorsoft, and they also had different cartridges. No problem. Then let's look at another different cartridge dimensions. So this one is the one that you got from Accolade. They were unlicensed back then, so that's why you don't see the Genesis logo on it, or Sega Megadrive. Alright. Works. Let's try this one. This is Action 52. It was another unlicensed game. It's known to be terrible. Okay, it's in. We can look at this one, Road Rash 2. If the cartridge is different than the typical Electronic Arts, it's because it was a re-release done by Majesco. No issue. This is a Streets of Rage 2 hack. The name is Girls Paradise. It's done by Yoni Roosment, and I got this on AliExpress It's a copy of a Japanese shell. The quality is not too bad, it's not the best, but you know, let's try. Here we go. Let's go to another bootleg, Streets of Rage 2, and this one is with Ninja Turtles. Again, an AliExpress. This one is a more Sega Megadrive, an Impal Megadrive or Genesis shell look. It looks clean. I don't know, it's possible why it doesn't work. I tried on a regular Genesis, it works perfectly. This specific cartridge has some issue. The Mega SG does not like it. It does not want to play it. But as I said, on the regular Genesis it works. Alright, so if we look at the Game Genie, the real Game Genie, it works. Let me run cartridge. And now I am in the regular menu from the Game Genie. So I can put my codes and then start the game. So the funny thing is that I can still use the Game Genie that is with the Mega SG. So I just have to press done and start to have access to the setup menu of the Mega SG. Then I can just go on Tools. Here I'm in Cheat Codes. This is the Game Genie actually for the Mega SG. On, then I can go here and I can enter whatever code I want. And actually I would have the codes from the original Game Genie and this one working. The thing that I don't like about this Game Genie, it's here. You see, if I go up and down, it does nothing. And to change, I have to go like A, keeps going. If I do B, it goes back. Same thing if I do C, it totally gets out of the menu. So this is poorly done actually in the Mega SG because you only have to do like this. You have no choice. You have to go through everything each time, each line. Yeah, that kind of sucks actually. I prefer the original Game Genie menu that we're gonna see right now. We have both at the same time. It's kind of funny. Let me get out of this one. See, the Game Genie. It's easy to go from one thing to another, but not from this one. A little complaint. Let's look at the action replay. This one is the Pro Action Replay. There are three different kinds: the regular, the Pro, and the Pro 2. But they kind of all work the same way. So it was done by Daytol and mainly distributed in Europe, a little bit in US, but not that much. So for the first and second generations, it was distributed in US as well, and the third generation only in Germany. Let's put a game on it. So this does not work exactly like a Game Genie because it uses PAR codes. Alright, let's see. And it works perfectly. Yep. No issue with the action replay. Now let's try a game that usually has issues working except if it's on the first generation of Genesis or Sega Megadrive, the ones who do not have the TMS message. . And it works. Alright, this game here. Maybe it looks weird to you. It was one of these games that was only released in some Christian store back then in the US. It's by Wisdom Tree. It has a weird cartridge side. See the size? It's kind of smaller than the usual Megadrive Genesis cartridge. Alright, let's try it. Let's use the Game Genie. Nope. The Mega SG does not like Christian games. Let's do another try. I have another game from the same company. This time it's Spiritual Warfare. Cleaned it. Make sure the contacts are clean. Let's see if it's the same thing. Yep, same thing. So, I don't know how these games have been made, how it's done inside this, but the Mega SG does not like it. And I think there were only, I don't know if it was 4 or 6 games released by this company on the Genesis and only in the US. So it's so marginal, so I can understand that the guys at Analogue didn't really care much about this, and to be honest, these games, you're not missing anything with it. So far, the Wisdom Tree games do not work, and I had this hack bootleg from China that does not work. Let's try another bootleg. This is a replica from the original Ninja Turtles game. It looks like the Genesis cover art on a Japanese clamshell. Yep, this one works. So you can connect your Mega SG to a Sega CD. I have a Sega CD 2 here. I know it looks a little bit funky because it's too small, this Mega SG, sorry. So let me show you something. First thing is that in here I have a hack for Road Rash to get a few extra things right away in the game. You can see here lights blinking. In conclusion, I would say that the Analogue Mega SG is an awesome console to have. As you could see, I played all the games that are usually problematic, like Virtua Racing, I play Budokan, I play all these games that were unlicensed or weird cartridge formats, such as the Electronic Arts, the Accolade, the weird bootleg from Korea, and I had some Chinese games, some replica, the indie new games that are just getting released right now, the Game Genie and the Action Replay Pro. Everything was working perfectly except I had one of these Chinese bootleg that was not working at all. So I guess it was made with really cheap components, not the correct voltage, and also these Christian games from the 90s done by Wisdom Tree. So very few games would not work with this console. I don't really think about the Chinese bootlegs. It's not an issue, I would say, for me. The Wisdom Trees, that's too bad it doesn't play it, but again, these games are so simple, basic, and not that fun, so it doesn't really matter. The Sega CD works perfectly as well, and you could see that I put some hacks in it. It just worked like if it was an original Sega Genesis or Sega Megadrive. So again, awesome console. I really recommend it to anyone, and you can have a lot of settings. I don't play with it much, but as I shown in the beginning of the video, if you're super technical, I guess you can have some fun with it. The console itself can be updated, meaning the firmware, so that's definitely a plus. That can fix some of these bugs that we experience. And finally, the bonus of the Mega SG is the game that is included with it digitally, so it's already in the console. It is Ultra Core. The original name was Hardcore back then. The game was actually finished, I guess, 95% or something like that. So the game just has been completed recently, and it was released as a limited game in cartridge not too long ago by Strictly Limited, and it comes with all of these consoles, so I love it. And this game is actually pretty fun. I haven't got the chance to finish it yet, but definitely a plus. And I would say that's it for me. Have a good one.
I want to thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share the video if you enjoy the content. In the meantime, have a good one.